All right, we are live. I'm going to wait just 2 more seconds in case there's a delay, but if not, hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. It's going to take a minute for you guys to pop up for me, but if not, it's just me and the fabulous LJ Andrews, author of the The Everseas duology, which we're talking about today, and the Broken Kingdom series, which I can't even tell you how excited I am to have you on my channel. I'm like nervous. I'm like shaking a little. I'm so nervous, but yeah, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Oh gosh, it is such an honor. I can't even begin to tell you. Before we begin, if you guys have questions for Miss LJ Andrews, please put them in the comments below because I will pop them up as we go along. Today, we're going to have a little bit of fun, but as an opener, I wanted to ask you a quick question just to get people to top on and everything like that. What is your favorite fandoms, or what are some of your favorite fandoms? If you guys have favorite fandoms, put them in the comments below. But I just feel like this is a good opening questions for authors.
Okay, so we talked about this before and I took a while, but now I've thought of more. So I have more that I like. So I love the Folk of the Air series. I said that. Like I don't know, it's just like my comfort series. I love it. And I am a Hermione like fanfic freak. I love Hermione. But also, I guess it's a show, so I don't know if this works, but Vikings, the TV show, I could rewatch that show all the time. So I don't know if that counts as a fandom, but it's mine.
It
so,
counts. It counts.
so those would be my top ones.
Yeah. And I have to admit, like, I have a few fandoms too, but we're not here for me. We're here for you. But I will throw it out there. I do like the Sarah J. Maas fandom. If y'all are out there, holler. And I am a huge fandom of the LJ Andrews fandom. I'm here for it. All the LJ Andrews, I'm here for. Okay, I haven't heard of this fandom before. This is a new one for me. So I've not heard of that before. Give a little info on that. I'd love to know about that fandom. Okay. So okay. Sorry, I have all my questions here. I'm just they're like swimming around my head, but I think we're going to do this as kind of like a truth or dare situation, except instead of truth or dare, we're going to do fun questions and serious questions. So depending on what you want to do, but before we begin on that, in case people don't know, because we're here because the Everqueen comes out tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I want you, like, in case people haven't like read the Ever King, can you drop a few lines? Can you say the Ever King in 3 words? Can you describe the Ever King in 3 words? What to describe that book?
It'll be longer than 3 words probably, but
okay, yeah, go for whatever you want.
A morally gray pirate fae kidnaps his enemy's daughter and falls hard. And he makes bone jewelry. He's a DIY king too. So he makes bone jewelry for reasons. So if you know, you know.
I do know. I know, and I love it. That is awesome. Okay, perfect. Like that is like the perfect. So please pick up that Ever King because Ever Queen's coming out tomorrow. So, we have a couple more fandoms I'm going to throw up really quick. Characters invite. Yep. The Broken Kingdom series right there. And then part of the Ever King series. Yeah. Oh yes. This is a big one. The Cressley Cole Immortals After Dark. That's a good one. And then excited and absolutely perfect. Okay. So what do you want to start with? A fun question or a serious question?
Let's do a fun question.
Okay. If you could take your character to Disneyland, which rides would they go on?
Pirates of the Caribbean.
So. I was thinking you would say that.
Yeah. 100%.
You could do individual characters too if you wanted to talk about Valen or Ari or any of the Broken Kingdom
on Pirates series. Of the Caribbean.
Yes.
Let's see. Jonas Erickson. He's in the Ever King and he's a 2nd gen from the Broken Kingdom. So he's a son of the Broken Kingdoms. He would go on It's a Small World probably. And just be happy with Ari he's from the Broken Kingdom. So they would go on It's a Small World. Livia, it's closed now. I guess they're changing it, but Livia would go on Splash Mountain.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
think it's
I
going to
could
be
totally
Tiana
see that.
now. So
Yes.
that's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Valen,
Would he
maybe
like
the
go on a
Matterhorn.
ride?
I don't know. Maybe like Thunder Mountain. I'm
I
trying to
always think like Valen would be like, oh no, I'm not going on any of these
I
rides.
feel like that would be Case, who is
Oh, that's
Jonas's
true.
dad. He'd be like, mm-mm, I'm just
Yeah,
over here
no.
in the corner.
Right. Like, come get me when y'all are
Yeah,
done.
when we're done with this nonsense, then you come talk to me.
Absolutely. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I feel the same way with Case. And
Yeah,
I have to admit, he is always going to be a favorite of mine.
he's our
I
shadow
just love
daddy.
him so much. Okay, I'm going to throw in a serious question now. So I know everybody's jumping into the Ever King and the Ever Queen. What are your recommendations on reading like the Broken Kingdom series first? Like on a scale of 1 to 10, how like do you think that they should kind of tackle maybe the first 3 books, or what are your thoughts on that?
It's kind of like, it depends on what type of reader you are. If you want to be completely immersed in a full world, then the Broken Kingdoms gives you the full setup on how we get to the Ever King. And
Mhm.
it gives all the family backstories, and it shows the Ever King in the Broken Kingdoms. Like little Eric, who is the Ever King, shows up in the Broken Kingdoms a few times. And so like you get just that deeper backstory. I know 9 books is intimidating to a lot of people. But then if you kind of just want like a deeper side of a different kingdom, I guess the Ever King is totally fine to start with. It does, I always say, it kind of gives away some names that show up in the first 3 books of the Broken Kingdoms that people might not know are alive. So
Right.
that will be a small spoiler for the Broken Kingdoms, but I've had a lot of people say that they prefer both. Like a lot of people started with the Ever King and then they've gone back to the Broken Kingdoms and they're just like, it didn't bother me. But then some people are like, no, I'm reading all the Broken Kingdoms first, and then they're going in because they want the full backstory. Because that's what it is. It's like the Broken Kingdoms is first generation, and then the Ever King is second generation. So it's their kids. I guess it's just what you want. The Ever King's spicier. It's my spiciest book because I feel
Right.
like through the Broken Kingdoms is how I was finding my spice zone. And so
Right.
the first 3 are a little bit milder, and then it gets more and more throughout the whole series. So if you like want spice right away, the Ever King would be the spiciest to start with. I guess
I
it's just
have
what
to
people depend on, like what they prefer.
I have to admit, I'm in the camp where you should read the other series first. I'm a full 10 on that because I have to admit, like what you said, there's a lot of backstory. And and I'm not going to say who shows up in the Ever King, but when they do, it's more impactful because you know who they are in the first series.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that to me is why I rated the Ever King and Ever Queen 5 stars. They are fantastic. They're chef's kiss. They
Oh,
are a brilliant duology, and I loved every minute of it. So sorry, I have to praise you there.
thanks.
So like it did help to read the first series. So yeah. Okay. And where did you get your inspiration for the Broken Kingdom series? Just out of
Um,
curiosity. This is my personal question.
Well, so the Broken Kingdoms actually is from a previously published book that I had. Like I told you, I kind of went on a hiatus. I tried to release a lot of books. They just like weren't taking. And so I kind of pulled everything down and took a break to kind of relearn and work on how I write and kind of decide what I wanted to write. And so it's bits and pieces of an old series that I wrote. It's divided. I actually wrote Case and Mullen, which is book 4 first before Curse of Shadows
Oh,
and Thorns. And that one is really heavily influenced by that first book. And so I kind of broke it up, um, like following those characters and just made them, they weren't Fae before. So now they're Fae. And I added a more Norse mythology spin because we're Swedish. So I was like, I kind of love like that heritage that I have. And my grandparents were Swedish. So it was like my love story to them type of thing. That's why there is some Swedish words in the Broken Kingdoms and stuff like that. So that's kind of where it came from. And I started reading a lot, and I'm reading like the market and what people were liking, and I learned more about Fae lore and Viking lore, and just kind of took my elements from that unpublished series and created the Broken Kingdoms.
I have to say, Case is a favorite of mine.
Yeah.
I think I already said that, but I'm not sure. He is an
He was
absolute
first.
favorite of mine.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh,
that's why it's like in book 1 they're mentioned, because I was like, I've already got these guys, like I know they're coming. So it actually helped like connect the worlds, because I already knew about that world.
So if you're starting to read that, look for Easter eggs. This is a good time to look for Easter eggs. And then I just started the other series to get to the whole. Yes, and the world building is big in the first series, I feel like.
It's big, yeah. And so the Ever Kingdom is mentioned, like it starts to build that, and then you kind of see how they become the enemies,
Right.
So
are any of those books still out? The ones that you ended up talking about that you ended up pulling, or
sorry, I'm looking at my shelf because I think I have one, but no, they're not out. I unpublished it. So look at that.
That's cool though. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, this is book 2, and yeah, that's what they used to be, and they're unpublished now.
So since they're unpublished, are they incorporated? Some of the characters incorporated into this series?
Yes. So in this series, he has a guild called the Shadow Assassins. I know, super, super original. But so that
I like it.
That's the Guild of Kriv in book 4 of the Broken Kingdoms, because Case, the main character in book 4, they're thieves in kind of a guild. And so Gunnar, who is he's connected to the first 3 and the next 3. He's a character that was in here. And that's why I'm going to spoil something, so I better stop.
Okay, yeah, okay.
I'm like, I told her to warn me, like, I will spoil things.
If you want to know, read the Broken Kingdom series.
So yeah, I just changed their names and really based it. And Malin, it looks like, which is the female main character in book 4, they look a lot like those characters. I kept their same description. So like her red hair and stuff like that belongs to that female main character in that book.
It's so funny. How do you get those? You don't, sweetie. Like they're unpublished, but like,
I have book 2. That's all I've got left.
I wish I could get my hands on those.
No, I lied. Actually, I lied.
Okay.
I have been giving it to my Facebook group because people were wondering. You send me a message, and I have it on digital form. I don't have physical books, but I can get you the old one. Now, keep in mind, I wrote these a long time ago, so I got better.
No, girl, I love your writing. Like, I cannot believe book 4 in the Broken Kingdom series was like the first one in the series. Like, that blows my mind. That one was by far my favorite.
Oh, good. I'm glad. It's funny to see who connects with what couple, because there's 4 couples in that series. So it's cool to see who connects with who.
No, it was great. It was absolutely great. Yeah. And I feel like that as you go through the series, you do get more confident with your writing, but you would probably know better about that than I would.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like you just get better. Hopefully, I hope with each book. I hope I learn how to write a little bit better with each one. The world building in the Broken Kingdoms, honestly, I don't know how some of it happened, to be honest. It just like fell into place. And I was like, well, that worked. So it was like an unintentional foreshadowing. And I was like, well, there we go.
And I have to admit about the Broken Kingdom series, some of the magic in there is so impressive. Like, so impressive. I'm not going to give anything away, but y'all, the magic is where it's at. And I read about 100 fantasy books a year, like fantasy romance. So, and that's only half my reading. I read other genres too. So yeah. I read last year 230 or something. Oh, so half of my reading is fantasy romance, and the magic system in this was Chef's Kiss.
Oh, thanks.
Let's see. Yeah. I love these worlds too. Oh, okay. So you're going to get a message.
Okay. Now, again, though, keep in mind, I wrote them a long time ago.
Yes. Oh my gosh. This is totally what I said to her behind the scenes. Yep. This is exactly, 2 weeks and done. Okay, moving on. Do you want a serious question or a fun question?
Let's do serious this time.
Okay. Let me see. I think we already did those ones. Okay, so you're talking about the names of like how you like Eric Bloodsinger. That's such a great name. So since you said Swedish, right? I didn't mishear
Yeah,
that.
we're Swedish and Scottish. So
Did
there's a little Scottish starting to come out, just so you all know, in the Everqueen. And it's because we're Scottish
So
too.
were the names influenced by Swedish and Scottish?
The most of the first names are like Scandinavian based. Sometimes
Okay.
Case, I don't know where Case came from. I don't
I
know.
like Case.
He
I
just
like
came up.
Case a lot.
So, Eric. So Eric is spelled with a K and stuff like that. Bloodsinger. I just started before so I announced that I wanted to have a character named Eric, and I couldn't decide. Like clear back when I was writing book 5 in the Broken Kingdom. So you can see like an old post where I was like, his name's Eric. That's all I know. And I couldn't decide if he was an adult that was going to show up in the Broken Kingdoms, and it turned out he was younger. So I guess that's a little spoiler. He's a kid in the Broken Kingdoms.
That's a need to know spoiler.
Yeah, because that's where it starts. He's pretty
Right.
young in those books, and so it turned out that way. And I just started building the magic system, and I was like, I like the idea that their names, they're not really family names. They just hint to what their magic can do. So
Mhm.
everyone has their own unique name in the Ever. So
That's awesome.
I don't know where it came. I was just like, he can sing and he does something with blood. So it's a blood
Right.
singer. So that's how it came up.
And we talked about you I love Eric Bloodsinger too. So like I love all the names in these books. I'm just like, yes, it just feels like someone who's going to murder everybody. Like it
Yeah.
just feels like
It
that.
flowed pretty good. I was like, well, that worked. It's another one of
Yeah.
those things. I was like, that worked out.
So when Eric Bloodsinger came on the page,
Mhm.
how did you know it was going to be a Pirates of the Caribbean kind of retelling situation? Like, how did that call to you? Like, where did you get the inspire from that?
Because I'm obsessed with pirates too. Like, my husband and I have this battle, and he thinks ninjas would win over pirates. And I was like, absolutely not. Because pirates are morally gray. They'll do anything. And anyway, I've been obsessed with Pirates of the Caribbean since it came out. That's my favorite ride.
Oh,
If
yeah.
I was going to Disneyland. And so I originally, because the Broken Kingdoms are very, very loosely based on fairy tales, right? Loosely.
Right.
I was like, we should do Little Mermaid. And that's where Eric came from.
I love that.
And I was like, we'll do a pirate version. And so obviously it is not anything like Little Mermaid. It turned into something completely different. But that was what my original plan was going to be. So I was like, pirates for sure. If we have anything to do. And I just loved the idea of like pirates versus Vikings. So I was like, that sounds like my dream. So
Right. And it was my dream too.
yeah,
So
I
thank
was
you
like,
for
I didn't
making
know I
both
needed
our dreams
pirates to
come
be on
true.
board, but yeah.
You completed our dreams together.
I am obsessed with like I have for my birthday, I got a sword and a
I love
battle
it.
axe. Like my kids are like, here you go, mom. Like you're a
Well, I
weirdo.
feel
So,
like you would be holding these as you be writing, and that might help your writing. I don't know.
yeah. Yeah,
Just
I don't
because
know.
it's like, and I feel like also as an author, does it help you to have the objects to be like, okay, now I could describe the weight of them. I could describe like how sharp they are. Like,
Yeah, it does. And it does take some research. Like that was what was hardest about writing pirates is researching the ships. So that's why
oh
I made the
yeah,
Evership a little bit fantasy based because there's a lot that I don't know about sailing. So I had to do a lot of research on it to try to fit it, but I did take some fantastical liberties with my ship because I was like, it's a lot. Like,
the ship was my favorite part.
oh, good.
Like you feel like you're on that ship. Like
Yeah.
I could describe that ship, and I won't because I'll let y'all experience it. But I could describe that ship to a T. And I am the type of person with the mind of a goldfish. So once I read a book, I forget a book. So if I could remember the way you described that ship, that's
Oh,
impressive.
good. Yeah. But I was like, I don't want like my nautical friends to come at me. So I like made it a little bit fantasy based so I could take some liberties with it. So,
Absolutely. And I feel like once you experience that, I mean, and write the first one, now if you ever do a pirate theme again, like it's going to be maybe a little bit
yeah.
easier.
I have
Yeah.
all these files of like research from that era and just like terms they use. I watched so many scenes from Black Sails. Is that what it's called? That TV show? I don't think it's on anymore because they
Yeah, you
talk
know better
so
than I.
much, like, and so I watched so many clips of like sea battles and stuff like that. So
I love it. I love it. Yeah, I must have watched Pirates of the Caribbean like 1,000 times. So,
oh, I love that show.
I loved that movie. Oh my gosh. Okay. So, I'm going to take a serious question just because it kind of like incorporates, and then we'll do a fun question.
Okay.
So was it different writing the second gen? So like, I know you were like, was there any challenges for that?
Yeah, because I had fans that were really into the Broken Kingdoms, and it was going to be hard. I knew it was going to be hard for them to say goodbye,
Yes.
which it was. It was really hard to write the last book in that series. That was a tough day, but I didn't want. I had to really think about it because Livia, the main female character in the Ever King, is the daughter of the couple from the first 3 books of the Broken Kingdoms. And they tend to be, from what I gather from what people say, they're kind of a favorite. Just I think it's because they started the Broken Kingdoms. And so I wanted them to like not compare her, but also compare her. So that's why I made her the way she is she kind of feels like she's living in this shadow that truly is there, honestly, like through readers. And I hope it worked out good. But yeah, it was hard because I wanted them to be individuals and like have enough, I guess, of a hook to catch people to be like, oh, we're safe to continue. Like we can move on. And it's still kind of there. But it's just like a new world. But I didn't want a lot of the same either, because I wanted to bring new readers in too, who haven't read the Broken Kingdoms yet. So it was a challenge to build a whole new world with a whole new culture while also keeping some familiar elements, if that makes sense.
Oh, totally.
So
Absolutely. And you could see how well you did it because I didn't get like when we're just going to say Valen may or may not have stepped on the page. Um he was totally separate. Like he was a separate entity and I knew it. You know what I mean? He was older, he was wiser. You know what I mean? Because after 9 books, you think to myself like Valen grew up. He has a daughter who's a teenager. So now he is definitely the older, wiser person. And you did that perfectly.
Oh, good. Good. Yeah, that's
Um,
what you want.
so here, I'm going to show this really fast. Yes. And I like that too, because it's literally like you're getting the way you wrote these, you're getting separate couples, which is great, but then they all have and as a writer, like that's so impressive to make different couples and you could see each one having their own dynamic. And that's really, I could never do that.
It was tough to like with the Broken Kingdoms, especially since there are 4 couples, which it's going to happen in the Everseas too, because there's going to be different couples throughout that one too. Is like you hope as a writer that you make them different, and I think it worked because people have favorites, and so I hope that means that they stood out against each other sometimes. So
totally did. They absolutely did. Okay, let's do a fun question.
okay.
Okay. If you were trapped in a sitcom with your characters, what would it be like?
A sitcom.
Yeah, I don't watch
I
a
know.
lot of
I'm like I
sitcoms
don't watch a
anymore,
lot of TV or
but
like
like I see this is my age coming out, like Full House.
that's exactly where I was like Family
Like
Matters.
Saved by the Bell.
I think it would be wild. Like so Valen would be like I rule this show. I'm the hot guy on campus. And then Ari would be the class clown who's in school with I'm going to high school, obviously. And Case would be the broody, like, I don't want to talk to people. And so I don't know. I don't know if they would be in the same friend groups. I feel like they would be on their own.
Probably not, because Ari would be like, I feel like his intelligence, he'd be like, okay, I'm out. Bye, guys.
Yeah.
I'm going to
I
go
feel like
be.
in real life, Valen, well, they did butt heads, I guess, a little bit, but like they would be like,
Yeah,
we're gonna
they would be like
compete.
arch nemesis.
The
One would be
girls,
like
I feel like, would be friends. Like
friends.
the ladies would be like, we don't need you boys, but
Right. Absolutely. I love. Oh, yes. This is a good one. Like the Breakfast
yeah,
Club.
that's exactly how they are.
Absolutely.
There's just like the different personalities that would all be there in detention together. That's exactly how it would be.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I have a question that's probably gonna like be really tough for you, but like it's okay. Do you have a favorite book in the Broken Kingdom series?
That
You're like,
is
Carrie,
tough.
why?
I like I love I know this is such a lame answer, but I love them all for different reasons, I guess. Because
Correct.
I think it's different for me because I know what I was trying, like what I was going through at the time and what I was trying to like work through. Because that's how I write, is I'm usually trying to fix a problem I see and I do it through the books, like whether it's unkindness toward people or, you know, something like that. Like I try to work it out through my writing. So I don't know. I will say the last one broke me because it's so many people. It was such a huge
Right.
cast. And so I was like, I don't know if I can do that again because my brain was broken at the end of that one. But I did love that aspect of the final one where it's like, we're all in this together type thing. Because it's a very interconnected series, as you know, like everyone's
Right.
still there. It's not just
It's
like one
literally
couple
like
done.
a
Like, yeah. And so I did like the theme of the final one where it's just like we've all been in this together, like we're a found family. Like I love the found family trope. I think the world could do with some more found family.
right.
So I think that's why I like that one a lot. But I loved Case and Mallin's first book because it was the first book. It started it all, even though most people don't know that. So I like where it kind of split, and I like that Case, this isn't really, I guess, I don't know if this is a spoiler, tell me if it is, but he's dyslexic. And so like, I like that he was kind of
Oh.
portrayed as this really rough thief guy who everyone's afraid of, but like he has all these insecurities inside. So I like his character, that he's kind of insecure in real life in the book. But I love Valen and Elise. Oh gosh, I don't know. I love them all. I love how Aries arrogant, but has like this dark backstory. I don't know. Ari. I always say his name wrong. Ari.
Okay, I was like, oh my gosh, should I just
It's
say his name
Ari.
wrong?
Don't worry. I just say Aries sometimes.
No, here's the thing about Case is because I struggled at reading growing up too. Like I was a struggling reader. So anytime I see something like that on a page where they're dyslexic or whatever, I automatically feel for that character.
Mhm.
And I love that you did that. Like, I have another question about the reps you put in your books, but
Mhm.
I'm going to save that.
Okay.
But yeah, you definitely, that Case will always be a favorite just because you put that rep in there for him. Here is a good question.
Junie and Nick. I love Junie and Nick. Yes, they're getting a novella.
Ooh, I love
So
it. Okay.
I guess I could say that. Yeah,
Yes.
because
Girl crush
there's a lot of
phenomenal.
side characters in this series that everyone's like, so we want to know their love stories. So I've got one, and I've said it many times, and it's been out long enough. I feel like this isn't a spoiler, but I will do a Junie and Nick novella, but also Saul and Tor are getting their love story, and probably Valen's parents maybe is like, I don't know. Well, they
I
have a
would love
story.
that.
I've kind of given a few scenes from them, but for sure Saul and Tor have been voted in, and Nick and Junie are definitely getting. So if you read, there's a note at the end of the Broken Kingdoms that regards Nicholas, and so yeah, he definitely is getting his story. He earned it. And so I think I'm going to release that in September, and it will just be like a short, each one. I have this idea where they're all going to be like in the same spot and like reminiscing or something, and it kind of goes off and they kind of go think of like how they came to be, I guess, and like fall in love. So
Saul and Tor,
yes. Yep.
those heroes
Oh,
are some of my favorite.
they
And
are
I'm
like,
like, they
if I could
belong
say, I
together
love Saul
forever.
and Tor.
Oh my gosh. They were one of my favorites of, I'm not telling you which series, I'm not wrecking anything, but they were one of my
Yeah.
favorites. And I'm
So
so glad my heroes were getting their story.
they
I
will
was
get
gonna ask
their
that,
love
but I'm like,
story.
okay.
Yeah. And so
I
they'll
love
be in
it.
the same book with Nick, and Nick and Junie, and I don't know if I'll put it up for sale. I might just do it I better not say because I never know. My plans will change.
Okay, because I think like so many people would go buy that one. So in
Yeah.
case you didn't
So
want
it is coming
to.
though. I've actually announced it in my Wicked Darlings Facebook group like a few times. Like it was gonna come before the Everqueen, but I didn't
Okay.
vote. And I was like, so I know I left you on a really nasty cliffhanger.
Yes,
So
you
what
could.
do you
Oh my
prefer?
gosh.
And everyone's like, please just do the Everqueen. And then, but it is coming for sure.
Um, book. The Everqueen comes out tomorrow. So yeah, that is exciting. I am so excited for you, girl. Like that,
Thanks.
I'm gonna be like, the Everqueen is out. Go get it right now.
It's nerve wracking. It's like it's the biggest release so far. So it's like you get kind of nervous.
I am excited for you. And then physical copies, please. So yeah,
Which
we
book?
want probably for Tor and Sal. If
Yeah,
I'm
I would
guessing
put it.
right.
It would. I would because they'll be together. They'll probably make a full length book because they're just short stories. But like
Oh,
once they're all
nice.
packed, and so I plan to do a paperback and hardback copies of it too. So it's like a little companion book that would
I
go up
love
there.
that. Okay, because I'm gonna jump straight into like a question that I was like, oh, I was gonna save this till the end. But like since you brought it up, I was like, special editions. Okay. Like, girl, I saw Fairy Loot Romancia said the Ever King was like, they showed a picture of your Ever King book. Are you allowed to talk about any of that? Like, are
The
you
only I have one for sure that's coming. I'm actually signing tip-ins right here. For the
can
Arcane
you
Society. So
oh
that's coming for the Ever King and Queen. They've got them, and then there are some more. I've taught. I'm trying to think of. I've gotten a few. My agent received an email too, but I didn't know the company's name, and they're in Australia. So I got that.
Ooh, I
She
wonder
was
if
like, I
it's
don't know what this is, and I was like, it's a special edition. That's what that is. So,
Yes, because girl, like as you can see, I don't have a physical copy because I am waiting for those special editions to come
mhm.
out because I'm a book snob, and at this point in time, since I have everything on Kindles and audios, I tend to try to go for the special editions.
Yeah, so I definitely Arcane says I don't know what month they're coming, but I
It's
am
okay.
signing.
I'm
I'm
a
signing
member,
thousands of
so
them. So,
it's
and then
coming.
I'm making one myself for like a foil cover. So that will
Okay.
be through me, like my shop. So I'm going to have that. And then there are going to be like new this isn't Ever King or Queen, but the new hardbacks I'm getting done for the Broken Kingdoms that are going to be like character art hardbacks with a dust jacket. So that's coming in April is my goal to have those out. But yeah, there's a few companies. There's a few that are for signings that are coming like in this fall for the Everseas. And when
Okay.
I get more information, I will definitely share. But
Okay,
yeah, there
cool.
are some
And
special editions coming out.
since you mentioned signings, where can we see you? Like, where are you going to be?
This year, I said yes to 3 because I'm quite introverted. So I was like, oh, I gotta push my boundaries. So in August, I will be in Boston with Sinners and Stardust, which I'm so excited for. I was like, this is my people, like these dark romancy, dark
Uh-huh.
romance people. So I'm excited about that one. So I'll be there in mid-August.
Oh, cool.
And then I'm going to Rare Edinburgh. So I'm going to Scotland in September.
That's fun.
And then I'm doing Orlando, Florida in October for the Romantasy Book Con. So
Okay.
that will be fun too. So those are the ones I'm doing. And then next year I just paid, I don't know if we're supposed to say, it's a big one. I'll just say that. It's a big one for 2025. Because they haven't
Okay.
given me the official author thing yet, but I did
Okay.
pay. So
Okay. No, that's fine. I don't want to get you in trouble
yeah, I was like,
as
I
much
just
as you
paid my
could say.
fee.
But
So it's a big
here's
one.
my question. Will you ever make it out to California?
Yeah, it's like close to me. I get these invites sometimes, and so I'm like, okay, but I don't know. This is where I'm weak in my author. I don't know where things are, and
Okay.
they're not brought
I
to
will
my
start
attention until they're brought to my attention.
attention. Yes. Okay. I'll start sending you stuff.
Yeah, because California is not far, so
Okay. Oh, good. Okay. Yay. Because I'll just start being like, hey, did you see this one?
yeah, I would love to. I'd go to Disneyland.
Heck yeah. I'll be like, I'll take you to Disneyland. It's fine. Oh, this is cute. That's super sweet.
Love you.
So yeah, I definitely want to see you at a signing and bother you at your table.
Yeah, I haven't even been to like local ones, and everyone's like, seriously? I'm like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, you're busy writing, so
Well, I
I
don't know where
understand
things
that.
are. So
That's okay. We will definitely I'll start sending you stuff.
yeah,
It's fine. Like, or
tell me
whoever
where
it's
things
supposed to
are.
send. Right. I've gone to quite a few signings, so I feel like I know a few of them, but I'm not the expert by any means, but I
This
can
is my
send you
first year.
for
It's
sure.
been a learning curve. My PA and I have been like, so what do we need to bring? What do we need to do? So hopefully, if you see me at Sinners, because that will be my first one, be gentle. We're learning.
Hey,
So
that's okay. Just bring plenty to sell. Like,
that's what
that's
they
all
said.
I
They're
have
like,
to
have a
say.
pre-order, have your
Yes.
books. I've got a
Yeah.
banner I'm bringing that says my name.
Bring extra copies, like, definitely, because there's people that are gonna be like, oh my gosh, I've seen this everywhere, and then didn't pre-order because that's
Okay, good
me.
to know.
And then
So,
I buy, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
yeah.
There was another author, she's doing Pharaoh Feb, it's HR Moore, and she did a polycon, and she just said, I didn't bring enough. I
Oh,
just did not
really?
bring enough. Yeah. So
Yeah, that would be like
um
the worst. We're just like sitting at the table, like we don't have
Hey,
any
do
more.
right, exactly. Yes, April, good friend of mine, she loved the Everqueen and Everking so
Oh,
much. She got
good.
one of your arcs too. But we were like DMing each other, chatting about the books and stuff. We were excited. So yes. Okay, so we could see you at those three, and then hopefully, fingers crossed, in the future you'll make it to Cali so I could see you. Okay. I think I'll do a fun question because
Okay.
I mean, I've got a bunch of serious questions, but we'll get through them. If you could steal someone's powers, whose powers would you take?
I really love the Mesmer in the Broken Kingdoms, which is books 4 through what? Tell me, 6, 4 through
Four through
6,
six. Yes.
because it's the body, and like I based it on like the central nervous system as best I could. I
You did great.
love I just love those. I think I would choose, his name's Gunnar. And I
Mhm.
love he can control you. He can like be like, if he wants you to die, he can just be like, you're gonna go jump off the cliff right now, and like kind of like that. So it's kind of like a mix of fae compulsion and stuff like that, but also it messes with your mind. But he has
Yes.
to, yeah, I don't know. I really like him. I like Eric's. I think his is pretty
Yes.
powerful, but it's also risky, like, so
Yeah.
I like that he can
Yes.
heal or kill you.
Yes. That is by far one of the
Yeah,
coolest
his
things I've ever
prerogative,
seen.
whatever he wants to do.
Right. And all he has to do is cut himself.
Yep. Yep.
That was really cool magic. I mean, with the magic, how did you think of some of that stuff? Like,
I don't know. So again, like I started with the body magic, and I it's hard because there's so many amazing magic systems out there. So you want to try to be unique, but it kind of feels like everything's been done. So I just try to dig deep. So that's why like the body magic, it's all based on like parts of our brain, pain receptors or fear or like our memory storage and stuff like that. And that's how I kind of developed the different things with that. And so then I started thinking about elements, which is what built the Northern Kingdom. But elements have been done so much. So I tried to make
yes.
it as different as I could, but that one's a hard one because elements are done all the time.
But I
Um,
like that you didn't call them elements. You
yeah.
literally just you called them something different. And I didn't even correlate them to elements. I just correlated this is Valen's power. And like
Yeah.
he can move massive like structures
The
and
earth
rock
and
and
stuff.
like
Yeah. And
earth. And I
so,
didn't even correlate that to elements.
yeah.
So
And then I stuck more to lore in like Fey lore with the South, which is books 7 through 8, because it's more like the glamour and stuff like that they call, And so I tried to just,
yeah, that's Ari and Sage's books, right?
yeah. And
Okay.
so they do kind of more the glamorizing, and like there's shifters there, or they're more the traditional Fey.
Mhm.
And then Cider, which is the final one, that's actually a real Norse magic, like the people that they thought were magic back then is actually, that's what it's called. So I thought they were so big into fate in that culture that I did it as a fate magic, that they could twist fate. So
That is really
and
neat.
Sea
Like
Fae, that one was hard because everyone's unique. So I was like, whew, we got to dig in and like think of these different people. So.
Oh, 100%. See, I even have a cheat sheet right here of like all the different people because I'm like, okay, like, because there's so many different people and side characters, and like you create a full community of characters, which
we're
is
working on
impressive.
big family trees. I had to like have for people, and it's quite a project because I was like, now they're connected to them and they go here, but they're also here, and so it's like been this huge.
Right.
And
Are you
now
going to
we're
be
including CFA. So
right? Exactly. Are you going to be posting that like on your
yeah,
Instagram and Facebook? Okay,
yes.
good. Because
So
I mean, mine is I'm going to show you guys because I mean, don't judge me from my writing, but look at how bad this is. Like, this is what I've got. And it's like the bare minimum. Like, my writing is terrible because I was doing this at night in my bed. So I'm like, but like,
yeah,
it's one of those moments where I'm like, okay, I need to know the main characters' names because names are like, they come in and then they fly out.
I had a reader do it. She did it great too. She posted it in my Facebook group and it was amazing. I was like, you did it. And then she was like, they go here. And like, she had all these lines. And I was like, I've been spending weeks on this thing.
Oh my
It
gosh,
was
I could
amazing.
imagine.
So
Yeah, because like, and then I remembered Tor's name, but I forgot Sal's name. How do you forget Sal's name? But it's just like, okay, so I know, and I don't want to say where they're from because I don't want to give anything away, but it's just one of those moments where you're like, okay, the names and the couples and everything. But you needed all of those for the Broken Kingdom series. And if you want to know, you have to go read them all. Yeah. Yeah, see, and and that's the one that was like the big one about the family maps and everything. Absolutely. Hey, Tiff. So, yeah, I feel like that would be super helpful too.
yeah.
And then I feel like, okay, so we talked about like the reading order and things like that. Could people get away with like, okay, so they want to read Eric and is it
Olivia, yeah.
Livia's book? Can they get away with like reading the first three and then reading the next three for Jonas's and
Oh yeah,
so on so
100%.
on?
You can start with the Ever King if you want, but the first three, it's her parents, and so that's where their story concludes. Again, they're still very much a part of the other books in the Broken Kingdoms, but yeah, that would give their backstory, and so you wouldn't have any spoilers, because you would know everyone who's there, and so yeah, but yeah, you could go back and
especially if you feel intimidated to read 9 books, then it's like, okay, well, I could read the first 3 and then read the Ever
King and Queen. You wouldn't see Eric yet in the Broken Kingdoms. He shows up in book 6. But again, I feel like most people haven't been confused about the reason that they are fighting and like enemies. So
right. Oh my gosh. This is my New Year's resolution of not mispronouncing names because I do this all the time because the second I read it and it's wrong, it stays with me forever.
you
like
know what?
that is the
I
name.
mispronounce my own character names. So
and it's so funny because you want them to be original. So it's like you need to go and do these elaborate names for them to be original, but then it's like pronunciation.
Yeah. Well, it's like I think someone was saying something so different and I was saying it so different. And I was just like, I don't know. I think we all just read how we read it. I was saying Ari wrong. It's Ari. It is Ari. I was saying it is Ari.
You could say Ari. That's okay. Cause then it would be like,
I was like, I know that one's Ari. I'm sorry I said it. But people call Valen Valen all the time. So it's just like, you do you. You all do.
That's cute. Awesome. Yeah. That's perfect. I mean, honestly, like however, as long as you guys go back or like go and read the Ever King so you get the backstory, I feel like that sometimes affects the ratings too. And this is just a personal opinion where I feel like the book would be rated better if you knew the backstory to the characters, but at least if you go back, you could see where they're coming from. That's a personal opinion.
Yeah, it just gives their whole world, Livia's world, basically.
Yeah.
It might be wrong. I might mispronounce them.
That would be awesome.
Because people call Gunner. His name's Gunner, and to me that's how I intended it. But it's people like Gunner, and I was like, so
yeah, I think I called him Gunner too.
yeah,
Like
it's Gunner. but yeah,
so yeah, that it happens. It happens.
It's that's why I say you guys just however it goes off your tongue, just say it.
Okay, so I'm going to do a serious question right now. I saw your IG post the other day about the 100 people that said no to your books.
Oh yeah.
And I was so happy that you didn't stop. You kept going, and then you ended up writing the Broken Kingdom series and the Ever King and Queen. Tell me what inspired you to keep going, just out of curiosity.
Have you ever just known you have to do something? Like that's what it is. It's just this sheer stubbornness that I was like, I just know like this is what I want to do. I started writing after I had my third kid because I had really bad postpartum, and I was just like, I've always been a reader, always been this little writer. I'm total plagiarism when I was a kid. I remember basically rewriting what was it? What's that show with Freddie Prinze Jr. and he does the bet or something?
Oh, gosh. What is that? She's All That?
I think so. Yeah. And
Okay.
I basically just plagiarized that whole, and I was like, look at this original book I just wrote as a 13-year-old. So basically that movie. Anyway. And
so many people do that though. They start not plagiarism.
Yeah,
don't get me wrong.
I won't ever.
No. Not that. But when they start writing, take a paragraph or two from someone else, and then they write a completely different story. So it's learning to write. Yeah. I guess that's a writing skill.
Yeah, and I thought the only way that I could make it is by doing the traditional route, like getting the agent, getting the big publishing house and stuff like that. And so that's what I mean when 100 people said no. I was like, I got rejected so much.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Or not awesome you got rejected. Awesome that you
pushed
through
it is awesome
that.
Because I've got all that now. I got it through the back door. I have an agent. I got to deal with Penguin Random House that's coming next year. And so it's just awesome. I hope writers, their stories matter. So if people feel drawn to do it, I hope they hang on because they're going to find readers who need their books. That's how I really feel. I think a book can speak to someone that only that book can speak to them in that time, So that's why I love reading so much. I think it touches people so differently. So I hope writers who are struggling, you never know. You never know what's going to happen.
You never know till you know.
Yeah.
Who was it that said, I think it was Sarah J. Maas. I went to a thing for her. And she said, I don't care if I was going to be 99. I still was going to put out a book till I was 99 years old. And if I didn't make it, I didn't make it. But at least I gave it a shot. Yeah. And I was going to write till the day I stopped breathing or something. It was just something she had said in Pasadena. And I was like,
that's kind of true, though. That's cool. Once it hits, it's hard to turn it off.
Right. Okay. So I saved this kind of towards the ending parts of this. I mean, I'm going to only keep you on here for an hour. So I know you have a live and I could talk to you all day, but, then things, what is it? The anxiety rep that you put in your books or the other reps that you put in your books, they are so incredibly well done.
Oh, good.
Tell me your inspiration to all that.
Well, I have very severe anxiety. So it basically, Livia is how I feel. So a lot of times. Right. And so I on with her, I kind of thought how do you handle it? And you have to play the mental game with yourself when you have severe anxiety of okay, let's focus through this. And I wanted Eric to actually see it, instead of just trying to fix it. Cause a lot of times if you have anxiety, I don't know if you do or not, but it's people just tell you to calm down. It's I would love to, thank you. And so I wanted someone to actually see it and be like, I'm going to walk with you through this one. So, and then Case's dyslexia, my husband's severely dyslexic. So I wanted to put him in it in a way. And then Like, I like to have the LGBTQ plus representation because I just want a world. It's a very dangerous world, but I wanted that aspect to be safe for people.
Yeah, of course.
You know, it's not a thing. Like, it's not like if you're part of that community in my books, it's like, okay. And so I just wanted a world where they were safe for once. That's like, you know, I told you I tried to like fix problems, and I have a good friend who is part of the LGBTQ community, and I just want a safer world for him, you know? So
That's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, and they were some of my favorite characters.
Yeah. So I will have that, and I don't know.
In the future. It's coming.
Yes.
It's coming soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just feel like you did it so well to
Oh,
the
good.
point where it's just like, because I did have some anxiety. I wouldn't say I was like diagnosed with anxiety, but I did have some during the pandemic. I was probably one
Mhm.
of quite a few people during that time, and I would have panic attacks.
Yeah.
And telling me to calm down only made it worse.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
it's
like I'm
hard.
like that's not helpful at
Mhm.
all because my breathing, I couldn't breathe. And like that is the scariest thing, not being able to breathe. And I mean,
Yeah.
I never experienced that before, but doing that during the pandemic and everything going on with the world, that really hit home. So it was nice to see that representation in there for people.
Yeah, I hope so. I like when I get messages that say that they're like it made me feel good. And they always say that I want someone to tell me to breathe because Eric does that a lot. You know, like just
Yeah.
breathe.
My girl April, she feels the same way.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, is that Ever Queen the last in the series?
So that is where I am going to split. So it ends sorry, it ends Eric and Livia's story. They get their ending. And then I'm going to start doing standalones. So book 3, it's not a trilogy or anything. It's just a standalone. It's going to cover another character that is introduced, and you get to know a lot more in the Ever Queen. So after that, I'm going to start doing standalones. Eric and Livia, the Ever King was actually supposed to be a standalone. And I kind of put a vote to it, and people were like, do a duology. And I was like, I know where I can stop it and leave it on. I warned people, I said, if you want me to do this, it's going to be a bad cliffhanger. So I warned people. Anyway. But the rest of
You've
that,
all been warned.
yeah, I'm like, you have all been warned. The rest of them, I plan to do standalones in the way, if I can do it, it's going to be a challenge. I actually want them to be standalones where you could actually start with book 3 if you haven't read the
Nice.
Ever King, like, you know, a
Okay.
complete standalone that you'll still see characters, because I don't know how not to do that. I don't know how not to show other people that I've written, but I hope it can be like just a complete new tropes, new story, but like in the same world. So
Yeah. That's really, and I agree with this too. I love the characters that they help each other. I love that.
yeah,
That's really sweet. That's kind.
that's where the
Yeah.
found family. I love the found family aspect of things.
Yeah. And then, yeah, I mean, I tried not to talk about later books in the Broken Kingdom series in case like you guys all want to read them. But yes, absolutely.
Oh,
This is
Aryan Saga. Yeah.
yeah.
She was another one. I actually got a few messages about her because she has some trauma that is, I hope, dealt with. That one was tough because if you haven't, I've never
Right.
experienced some of those things. So it was like, I
Right.
want to be, you know, sensitive to certain things. And so
Correct.
I hope it was done
100%.
okay.
Yeah.
Do.
I feel like that is so true. Like the fantasy romances and fantasies in general, they always have to be like 5 books, 7 books, whatever. And I feel like there isn't enough standalones. There are hardly any of them out there.
Well, I think I'm trying to avoid, honestly, I'm trying to
Well,
avoid
they're hard.
another huge cast because that was so
Right.
hard to write, the last Broken Kingdoms book. So,
Well, and I know standalones for fantasies are really hard because you have to build this world,
yeah.
have the problem, and solve the problem within
Yep.
what?
So that's going to be a challenge, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Right. So, okay. Sorry, I'm getting distracted over here with all my questions. I'm running low on time, but okay. What for the next installment is Jonas.
Mhm.
Can you tell us anything about that without spoiling it, or is it going to be spoilers all the way
So
around?
I will share the trope after the Everqueen, like the main trope. If you read the Everqueen, you're gonna probably know like the main trope of that, but I am saving it till after tomorrow, and then I will
Okay.
say what it's about. But yeah, it is about Jonas Erickson. He's one of Livia's besties, and he is my playboy of the series, and something's gonna cause him to be like, well, I can't be a playboy anymore. And so I'm
I'm so
excited to see how he goes. He's definitely like, again, if you kind of read the Broken Kingdom, you see him as a kid, and he's actually a very complex character in my head. I hope I can portray it in his book. He is very light and fuzzy, but also he feels very, very fiercely. And so I hope it comes out. He's going to be fun. But it will expand the world. I've introduced in the Everqueen a new side of the world. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
I'm not going to lie. I'm really excited for his book. And I don't know if you're going to do this or not, but Mara's book.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
you know what Ari's going to do. I can't say
I know.
anymore, but like
well, I can say I've already announced the for sure ones that I am going to do that people can
okay.
plan on, the standalones. So Jonas is next. I can't decide who's next after him, but I will for sure. I have covers and ideas for Gavin
Okay.
and Mira.
Mira. Okay,
And
sorry.
then probably Alexi. Sandra's the one who's not talking to me the most right now. So
Oh, okay.
I want to do him. And I actually said, I was like, I could even have an idea for Rorik, Livia's little brother, eventually, but we'll see. It's just more how much people want books, if they are still into the
I've
world.
please put in the chat if you vote for Rorik. Like that is the vote I am here for. If you
He's got to
I'm
grow
like,
up a
I
little
want
bit.
him. Oh my gosh, he was adorable.
Yeah, he's kind of a star in the Everqueen. He's kind of a cutie.
Totally. So
So that
adorable.
was what I said. For sure, I have like my covers ready to go for Mira, Gavin, and Alexi. So
Okay. Oh, look at we want them all. Wait, hold on. Sorry. Just I agree, Nicole. We want them all. Okay, so kicking off to something totally different. Can you tell me anything about the Broken Souls and Bones that
Oh,
you're writing about?
I gotta be careful. This is my first time having like contracts.
I know. That's why I was like, I wonder
Like I
if
gotta
she
think
was.
about it for a second. I am writing it right now because it is due. I have to turn it in at the end of March. So even though you guys aren't going to get it till the next year, I am actually writing it right now. So I'm really excited. It's my first time dealing with someone who doesn't talk. So for reasons, that's all I'm going to say about that. But it'll be really interesting creating a male main character who doesn't talk, and kind of that's going to be a challenge to build hopefully the tension, and it'll be a dark romance. The magic has a lot of bone magic. This one involves a lot of bones. It's pretty gruesome, a gruesome magic system. It's not like pretty. So it's a gruesome magic system.
I'm here for the gruesomeness.
Yeah.
Does that sound bad? I don't even
No, it is. It's going to be pretty a brutal magic system. So yeah, I'm really excited to try it and see what it's going. So I'm excited to see where it goes. I know that's like very vague,
No,
but
that's okay.
yeah,
Do they have a publication date on it? Like, is it coming out this year or next?
next year.
Okay.
Yeah,
So that
and I will be able to share the publication date soonish.
okay. Perfect. Yeah, I know you're still writing it, so I'm sure it
Yeah.
flexes with you writing it and stuff. So I understand that.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so we're gonna end this with two more questions. I'm gonna do a fun one. Which character would you make or which character would make a YouTube channel?
Ari.
I was thinking the
Yeah.
same thing.
Ari with Jonas at his side. So those two would be like, look at us. Yeah, for sure. Ari.
I feel like that. And because you said you're such a big reader, what are you reading right now? Are you reading anything right now?
I ordered a bunch of books recently. I just finished the Shepherd King duology, which was really enjoyable. I really liked that duology. That was I liked that a lot. Like, it was like I didn't know how much I liked it until it was over, and I was like, "That was cool." I really
Oh,
liked that. So I
absolutely.
just
So
finished that one.
how much do you read in a year? I mean,
Ugh,
because you were writing all the time.
I know, I wish I read more. Like I told you, I got on the Hermione fanship last year, and so I would read a bunch of those in between releases, but I wish I could read more when I'm writing. Right now I'm on the deadlines because I have a shared world book coming out in February that I'm part of with other authors. So that's coming out, and then I have to turn in Broken Souls and Bones. So it's kind of like a writing crunch right now, actually.
Right. So,
So
like, there's no way that you'd have time for, like, reading because you have
yeah,
to get the deadlines
I
in.
try
I
to. I'm reading. I did have. Oh, I just thought I had my birthday. I got the Hurricane Wars. I haven't started it yet, but my husband bought me the Hurricane Wars. I don't know if anyone's read it. Do
When
you
was
like
your
it?
birthday?
It was on the 20th. So
Happy belated
thank you.
birthday. Oh my gosh. I
Yeah.
gotta post something unless you don't want people to like post things. But I gotta put that in my
My PAs
calendar.
do it. I don't say anything. My PAs are like, it's her birthday. And I was like, don't.
Yeah, I reach a certain age where I'm like, I used to post it on Instagram. Now I'm like, let's pretend this day doesn't exist
Yeah,
anymore.
I know.
I
It's
don't
just
want to
like,
know that I'm getting older.
yeah. So I
Yeah.
haven't read it yet, but I did. It's a very pretty book. So I'm
Oh, it's
excited to
funny
try it.
because I have the Hurricane Wars
Oh,
around here somewhere that I have not read yet. If you're
yeah.
reading it, I will buddy read that with
Yeah.
you.
I'm like, I'm a
That's
Raylo
so
girl.
funny.
And so my husband saw that and I was like, okay, we'll give it a try. Oh,
Yeah. See?
we're birthday twins.
Oh gosh, yes. That's so
Yeah.
funny because I remember April's birthday was just recently too. So that's
Yep.
awesome. So, yeah, I love hearing about like all the you guys are reading and like what inspires you. I mean, this has been one of my funnest interviews.
Oh,
I've had so much fun with you. Thank you so much for
thank
coming and hanging out
you.
with me and um coming on my channel. I am a huge fangirl. I have to admit, like the Broken Kingdom series is everything.
I'm
And
glad.
I really cannot wait for the next series that are coming. And yeah, but thank you for jumping on.
Thank you.
So, okay, well, if you guys want to see LJ Andrews, please visit her at her Instagram page. I will link that down below and visit her at all the signings. Don't forget that Everqueen drops tomorrow. So please go and purchase as many copies as that as you can and want. And until next time, guys, we'll talk soon. Bye,
Okay.
y'all.
See ya.